Now we are joined by the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Shah Mehmood Qureshi. Thank you for joining us here on Newswire. You wrote a letter to the Secretary General of the United Nations. What prompted you to write the letter?
You see, the way India is building a frenzy, the way they are being jingoistic, gives me this feeling that they are escalating tensions. And the way the language that is being used, the rhetoric, and the speeches being made, the speech made by the Indian Prime Minister in Maharashtra, in which he openly is threatening Pakistan. He is not just threatening Pakistan, he is questioning the raison d'etre of the Indus Water Treaty. Now, these are very, very serious issues. And it is of concern to me. It is of concern to anyone who wants to see peace and stability in the region. And I thought our reaction was very measured. It was very mature, and we've been exhibiting restraint. But I thought it is important to bring it on record and request the Secretary General of the UN to play his role for de-escalation. And that is why I've written to him, and I've also asked him to circulate my letter to the members of the Security Council.
And in your view, Mr. Qureshi, what is the reason that India continues this smear campaign against Pakistan and continues to make the relations between the two countries so tense?
The reason is very obvious. India is going into a general election. And in the last state election, BJP hasn't done very well. In the 5 states that they were contesting in, their performance has been sort of below average. And they're concerned. They're concerned that they have the economy is not doing well. They are concerned that they've alienated people and they might not get the result that they expect. So they want to build up a frenzy. They want to create a bogey and make Pakistan bashing election rallying point. So they're using Pulwama, the tragic incident of Pulwama, to galvanize a vote and to attract the far right-wing vote, which was gradually escaping from them.
And after the Pulwama attack in Kashmir, we've seen RAW, which is India's main intelligence agency, sponsoring protests in the UK. We've seen Indian media continue their smear campaign completely undeterred against Pakistan. What is their agenda essentially? Is it just the elections, or could we consider them distracting from issues like Kulbhushan Jadhav's case being heard today in the ICJ?
You see, there are a number of factors. One is they're using it for electioneering purposes. One. Number two, at the ICJ, the Kulbhushan Jadhav case is under, it's being heard, and the hearing will go on till the 21st of February. So they want to build up a case there. Then they want to pressurize countries that will be considering our case on FATF, on that issue. And they want to push Pakistan from the grey list to the blacklist. And Pakistan, in its case, in its presentation at Sydney, very clearly spelled out the steps that we have taken to check terror financing and money laundering. It was well received over there. So they were nervous and they felt they want to ratchet up pressure. And thirdly, they feel that by playing this up, they would try and diplomatically isolate Pakistan. So it's a considered strategy that they are following, and they have a full design. And all Indian institutions are being used to fulfill this design. But this is a very dangerous design. This will destabilize the region. It will destabilize South Asia. And I think they are being myopic. one expects a statesman-like behavior from the Indian Prime Minister, and he should be above politics. The people are concerned, innocent lives are concerned, and they should also review and revisit the policy that they are pursuing in the Indian-occupied Kashmir, where now international organizations like the Human Rights Commissioner, like the All Parliamentary Group on Kashmir of the House of Commons, have given their reports on the 30th of October. And that report, the Human Rights Commissioner's report, has come out in June 2018. Now, all these are pointing towards a certain direction, and they are highlighting atrocities, human rights violations that India is undertaking. To distract attention, they have created this bogey.
Now, Mr. Qureshi, the Kashmir issue in itself has been drawn out for over 70 years. The international community remains rather silent, looks the other way. You were just in England recently to highlight the atrocities there in Indian-occupied Kashmir. What will it take to get the attention on this issue? Because any kind of overtures from Pakistan have received no response on bringing India to the negotiating table.
You see, using 9/11 to their advantage, India very skillfully dubbed the movement for self-determination into a terrorist campaign, and they associated this freedom struggle into a campaign on terrorism. Now, with the new situation, with these new reports and the new reality coming out of Indian-occupied Kashmir, the focus has changed, and people are saying, "Listen, this is not terrorism. These are innocent people. They're protesting, and they are not armed. It's a political movement. It's a people's movement against excessive use of force under special laws that is being carried out in the Indian-occupied Kashmir." So that shift of focus has unnerved them, and now they want to bring the focus back to terrorism. Pakistan as a country has suffered terrorism. We know what terrorism is all about. We have lost 70,000 lives. We have suffered an economic loss. Over 128 billion has been our direct and indirect economic loss. So we know, and we have struggled to defeat terrorism. The armed forces of Pakistan, the police of Pakistan, the people of Pakistan have successfully defeated terrorism, and we will not get into this game. We are very clear. We will not, as a policy, not allow our land, our soil to be used for terrorism against any country, and that includes India.
This is something the Prime Minister of Pakistan, in a very historical speech today, addressing India and its rhetoric, has also said that we have lost over 70,000 people to this war of terrorism. However, he's also offered to play an important equal role in this investigation in Pulwama. What are we expecting in response from India?
What we are saying is, what we are suggesting is that if you have actionable evidence, please share it with us. And we are willing to cooperate. And we will cooperate in complete sincerity, because we want to put an end to terrorism. And if they have, when we say sit and discuss outstanding issues with us, let's have a dialogue, they say no. Dialogue and terrorism cannot go hand in hand. And today the Prime Minister very clearly said that, listen, if you want to talk about terrorism, okay, let's sit and talk about terrorism. Let's talk about all issues that are of interest to you and us.
Okay, and just one last question, Mr. Qureshi. What are you expecting from the UN in response to the letter you've written?
I think the UN is cognizant of the situation in the Indian-occupied Kashmir. There are a number of resolutions that are part of the UN agenda. They know it's a flashpoint, and they should play a role to de-escalate the tensions in the region.